I got this call, Majumi on the phone, completely, how to say, subdued in her voice. I said, Mommy, something happened. And I said, okay, what happened? I mashed up the car. She suddenly had this very, very short blackout. And then this did happen, and that was happening, and then for the very short moment that happened, there was a slight corner, and instead of taking the slight corner, she went straight. I just drive in there and park the car there, and the guy after him look and say, look at what is wrong here, look what has to be done. So, and he looked at certain things, said, boy, you are lucky that you reached me here, because if you would have driven a little further, your engine would mash up. The insurance finally decided they would write off the car completely.
Hey my lovelies, it's your girl Mel. Welcome back to my channel. We are here with Mommy, so I already know, so it's another story time with Mommy. Story time with Mommy. If you're hearing noise in the background, there is some weed walking happening all around us. I think it's more than one. One is down that side and one is down this side. So we can't do anything about that right now. I hope it doesn't pick up in the camera too much. But as you can see, we are back in Portland.
Yeah.
And
Sweet home.
Cinda is making an appearance as well, you know. But yeah, Mommy is going to take over today's story time. So let's get right into it.
Disclaimer. The stories that I'm going to tell in this series are my experience, my truth, and my point of view over the past 38 years that I have been in Jamaica. And it's in no way intended to slander any person, the culture of Jamaica, or the island as a whole. Okay, although we are in the year 2016 already, I realized that I never told you about something that I started around 2012, I would say, and that is couch surfing. For those of you who don't know about couch surfing is a system where you, it's a website where you log in as a host or as somebody who's looking for a place. It is worldwide. And I decided to host, which means I would take in people that apply and would ask me if I had space at such and such time and so on. Of course, everybody had a profile that I could read, and if people had been couch surfing from before, there were comments as well, and
they had
ratings,
yeah.
Reviews. So I mean, basically you would know that you would not necessarily bring somebody into your house that would wreck it or harm you or whatever. The system, basically, I like the philosophy behind it, is that people can come in other people's homes, houses, stay there for free. That is why it's called couch surfing, because basically if you cannot expect to get your own room, you cannot expect to get any form of luxury or anything. It is just, hey, you pop in and you get a space somewhere to sleep, and then you can connect with the family, and the family can show you around if they will so wish to, or tell you the ropes of the place, or teach you something about their country, their culture and whatsoever. And I found that very, very interesting, because it was like a completely non-commercial thing. So I decided to give it a try and host, and put up the profile of the house, the family, and who we are and where we were. Of course, Jamaica is pretty popular for couch surfers. Like, for example, if you live in a rural little place somewhere in, even say, America or somewhere in Europe, people might not be so interested in coming to visit there. But for example, you have it the same way in Germany. People who live in Hamburg or Berlin, and so if they put up their hosting situation, they are practically overrun with requests. Jamaica is of course pretty popular as well as a holiday place, and for many people it is very enticing to know, oh, I don't have to pay this huge holiday hotel bill or whatever, but the basic philosophy behind it, as I understood, is basically to not live in a touristic environment, but to live in a place where you can directly see the runnings of the country, the culture of the country, meet maybe locals more than you would if you would stay in any
to experience the authentic
country.
Yes.
I can't even say Jamaica because it's all over the world. So I found that enticing. I said, okay, let's try this. So basically I got the first request. I don't even remember who that was. I think it was a girl from somewhere. And of course we were kind of offering some luxury because they would get their own room. That time we were still living in Norwich and we had a room available. So it was like, hey, you can come here, you have your own room, you have your privacy, you know, if needed, but you can mingle with us as well. So basically we had pretty good experiences with it. Not always, of course, but we did. And I remember a few people distinctly. But the one young couple that I'm talking about now, I did not even get them through Couchsurfing, the website, but through our restaurant, because they were sitting in the restaurant having some drinks, and then they asked me if I would know a place for them to stay, and I said, how you mean, what do you really need? And then they started to tell me, oh yeah, they were doing couch surfing and they were at this lady's house and they felt so uncomfortable there, so they really wanted to leave and find another place. Not only that they felt uncomfortable, but apparently the lady was asking them for money. Not in the sense like, oh, you have to pay rent to be here, but oh, let's cook something together, give me so and so much money, or I will bring you there and give me so much money. So they felt a bit uncomfortable about it. So I told them, well, I'm doing couch surfing as well, so if you're interested. And they were like, oh no more couch surfing, because what we have seen there and we cannot handle it. And so I told them a bit about ourselves and where we are and what happened. And I said, well, why, just in case, but why don't you try it out for one night, and if you don't like it, you just leave again. So they finally agreed and came to the house, and they went into the room, and as it happened, we hit it off good. Actually, I'm still in contact with one of them up to this day, and I mean, we are talking 10 years ago. And the lady was like doing yoga, and we started to talk a lot about these things. And the guy was half musician and half, I don't even know what else he did. Lady was a teacher as well. And then we started to even cook together and eat together, and then we took them to Long Bay, and they had a blast the whole time. And I was glad that I could kind of save the bad name of couch surfing for them in this context. And another couple came from Belgium, and at that point in time we didn't even have a room for them, but a bunk bed in our dining room. And they were completely alright with it, and they wanted to stay, I think, 3 days. And one of those days the lady fell sick. So I made her some tea and gave her some advice what to do and stuff like that. So basically they were really grateful, and they loved it. And they left me this. Can you show it maybe? Oops. It is a bit dusty. When they left, they gave me this stone that they had written up, and I found that very cute. So you can see I still have the stone up to this day, although it is from 2013 already. Very nice people as well.
What it says is 2013, thank you for your hospitality and taking care of my bad cold, with their 2 names on it.
With their 2 names. So I found that really nice, because that was a cute idea to thank us. And another couple I remember vividly, they were British, but they lived in Trinidad. And so that was pretty interesting, because basically they were here and we started to compare Trinidad to Jamaica, and they would tell me what was going on there, and I found out that over there living is a lot cheaper than in Jamaica, for example. And when they came the first evening, I cook every night, right? So when people came in the evening, I would like offer them a taste of the food if they so wanted. And they tasted my food and they were so intrigued that they said, oh, you know what, we are going to give you money, please cook every evening for us while we are here. I think they were staying about a week or something. So next morning they gave me money and said, you buy for us, for your family, and you just cook for all of us. So of course that was a nice little change to having no money ever from these enterprises. So I enjoyed that. They enjoyed the food. I enjoyed to get a little bit of money and help out the family. So that was wonderful. And these people were really interesting. And I learned a lot about Trinidad. And that was the positive side. We had a few more people, all nothing special, nothing to complain about. But some were there. For example, you come in a house that is not yours. You're staying there for free, and then you leave the room nasty, full of garbage. I mean, not even the bed made up in any way. Like I had about 2 or 3 parties like that, and I was really disappointed. I said, look, that is common courtesy, you know. Normally you come to somebody and you get shelter if you want, and you cannot even take out your garbage, or you can't even if you would spread the bed, like even a bit, you know. But just everything was flung around, and then I looked on the floor and it was like, whoa, I mean, this is not a hotel, guys, you know. But of course I only realized when they left, because while people were there I wouldn't enter their room. So what I found out as well eventually is, of course, having people in the house cost me more electricity, because all of them had their gadgets to charge up and this and that, and then more light, more hot water. Water generally anyhow, because people would take showers and this and that. And it turned out for me, and after having a few disappointments actually, it turned out for me that I said, well, it would be either I would have to charge a minimum fee for people to come in, which would be against the philosophy of couch surfing, or I have to simply stop it, because I couldn't basically afford it anymore, you know. So that is why after about, how long did we do that? About 3 years?
I have no idea.
You weren't there the whole time. You were there some of the time, but not the whole time. About 4 years I think I did that. And that's when I just took off my profile from, oh, it's still there, but I kind of wasn't open for hosting anymore. Here, there's a note you can make. And I did regret it to a degree, because for all the people that did come and we had a good time, but as usual, the good suffer for the bad, I think. So I had to cease that, and since then we haven't been hosting anymore. So that's since like about 2000.
Yeah, no, we couldn't do it anymore anyways.
No, we couldn't do it anymore, basically. Right. But I mean, I still like the idea behind it. Don't get me wrong, but as usual, there are always people who use and abuse, because it was said too, like, if you come and spend time in the house of the people, that basically you should be interested, not in the people necessarily, but in the country. But some of these people, they just came in and they wanted to have a free place to stay, and that's it. you know. So they didn't do any communication or nothing. They just came in, walk out, and then, as I said,
Well,
left the room. No, but I mean, they would not even, basically, I had one person there,
I know,
they wouldn't
but
even say hello when they came in, or goodbye when they went out, or nothing. You know, it was like just,
because they're just cheapskates.
I get a free room.
Yeah,
you know?
they're cheapskates, so.
Yeah, anyhow, that was my part of the reason, and of course the financial part, why I had to seize that enterprise here. And then one more thing happened, which I forgot in 2016. In 2015, around my birthday time, I finally, for the first time in my life, for the very, very, very first time in my life, I was able to get a car that wasn't 20 years old. I got a car at that time. I was just 6 years old. I had a little funds on the side, so I decided I'd finally go get a car that is not going to break down every second, that I don't have to put in repairs over the time in the amount of a new car eventually, you know. So I finally decided I'm going to get a new car. Not brand new, but I mean 6 years old for me was the absolute record at the time. It wasn't even 6 years, it was 4 years, even better. So in Jamaica nowadays, a lot of people have a person, they order the car in Japan, because Japan, they drive apparently on the same side like we. And after a good time of waiting, I finally got my ISIS. I still drive a ISIS now. It's a nice car, I love it. I was so happy. It was like, oh my god, everything is functioning. It is not looking like an old piece of junk. Because seriously, my whole life through, I only was driving old cars. From ever since. My first car in Germany was a VW bus that at that time when I got it was over 20 years old already. And after that, all my cars were about in the bracket of at least 12 to 20 years old. So same going on in Jamaica. The last car before this one I had was a Toyota bus from the 1990s something. So at the time we got it, it was pretty old already too. And of course, same problem, you know, when you have an old car, basically you drive a few miles and something happens, then you fix that and something happens again. And I was so tired of it. I just said, basically, if I try to get some money together now and get a newer car, it might come cheaper eventually than having these old cars that you buy for cheap, but that you constantly put money in. So I had that car. It came shortly before my birthday, 2015, so that was like end of September, and I was so happy with that car. Believe me, I was like, I felt like a queen, you know. And then by the insurance, it's only I got a fully comprehensive insurance, and in Jamaica, if you have a car with a certain worth, you have to determine who can drive that car for the insurance. So basically it was only me and Majumi at the time driving the car. She was gone anyway, and there was nobody else was driving. So she and me were on the papers. So and she did drive the car frequently, of course, as well. So one day I was at home, actually, and that was in March 2017. I was at home when I get a call from my daughter.
2017?
Yeah, that 16, sorry, 2016. In March 2016, yeah. I got this call, Majumi on the phone, completely, how to say, subdued in her voice, said, "Mommy, something happened." And I said, "Okay, what happened?" "I mashed up the car." And I was like, "What?" And she said, yeah, I drive in another car on the back, in the back of another car that was parked on the side. And I said, but how could that ever happen? And she said, well, what happened is at that time we had a dog and a tiny little cat that she raised from practically the mother of the cat died tragically, and the cat was only, I think, not even a week old, and Mayumi took it on to nurse this baby every day with a bottle and stuff. And it's like she would carry that little cat everywhere, of course, because she was a mommy, right? And little cats need their milk, so she had a little basket, and in the basket was a little cat, and then she had her bottles and everything, and would carry that everywhere. So she was actually driving down in the shop. She had two, I think my granddaughter Zeta was in the back, and another girl was sitting in the back, and she put the basket with the little cat on the side, on the co-driver side. And then we had Zuri in the car, our little dog. Anyhow, she was driving down, and then something happened. I think she had to brake or something, and the basket with the cat dropped in the front. And then Zuri, she wouldn't do anything to the cat, you know, but she wanted to help, so she jumped in the front there. Now Mayumi didn't pay them no mind really at that point in time. She continued to drive, but then again, you see how life goes. She suddenly had this, because she was taking some medication at the time, she suddenly had this very, very short blackout. You know, like getting dizzy and everything is black in front of your eyes. And then this did happen, and that was happening, and then for the very short moment that happened, there was a slight corner, and instead of taking the slight corner, she went straight. So ran right on the other side of the road. Luckily there was no traffic otherwise. In one car that was parked there. And luckily again a very old car that was practically parked there. But one of my front lights mashed up completely. The front was dented in, and the car started to fume and everything. So she turned it off right away, and then when she called me, I took a taxi and came right down to the accident site. It was on the main road going down to the town. It wasn't even that far. And I was like, what the heck? What did happen? So she explained the situation to me. Luckily, the two girls in the back were not hurt. Right? They were frightened a bit. They got a good fright out of it, but they were not hurt at all. By that time the cat and the dog have been back under control, so all that was not a problem. It was just my car. So what we did then is, the engine did still run at that point in time. So what we did, we started the car, turn it around, take care of the person with the other car and that was involved, and then there was a garage not far, I mean about like 400 yards away. I just drive in there and park the car there, and the guy after him look and say, look at what is wrong here, look what has to be done. So, and he looked at certain things, said, boy, you are lucky that you reached me here, because if you would have driven a little further, your engine would mash up. But then nothing much was going to be done there in order to get the engine working. But like I said, the front light was gone, and some other things were gone, and so that was my attempt, my first attempt in my life to get a newer car for myself.
So what happened with the car?
Well, what happened after, we kind of fixed it up partially that it could drive again, because of course, as everybody knows, things take time in Jamaica. What I did, I put in the damage to the insurance right away, of course. And took photos and got the mechanic appraisal and stuff like that. And basically, the front light alone would cost a lot of money already. And some other things that would have to be done came to a substantial amount of money. And then after about half a year, the insurance finally decided they would write off the car completely, which means they would give me the appraisal money so I could buy another car, basically. No, I had two options. I could either get part of the money to fix the car, or get it completely, get the complete money and buy another car. Now what happened throughout the time, the half year, that car was able to drive. So I use it every day. I was still going on with it. But two more accidents happened. Not our mistake, you know, one time I was in the junction coming from Kingston, and a car came around the corner too far and whoops, right into my side. Nothing big, but still damage. And then somebody damaged the car when my daughter was driving again. Same thing, we were completely out of it. So our insurance wasn't involved or nothing, but another damage again. So when the choice came up, now what do you do? Fix this car or get a new one? I said, boy, it looked like this car is doomed. You know, because I mean, I drive since so many years. And I mean, I can count the incidents that I had. And I had one little bigger accident, and I wasn't even with somebody else. It was just like coming off the road as well. And one time my car turned over, that was when I was like 18 years old. That was in Germany, and I slid on a patch of ice, so that was even a bad thing too. But that was basically all the accidents I had in all my life. And now I have this car, not even, what did I have it now? 6 months? And in 6 months, 3 things occurred. You know, I said, no, this car is jinx or something. So I decided to get another one. Take the money and order another one. Which I so did. Took us forever to get that car. But right now I still have it since 5 years. Still another ISIS. And I'll tell you guys, I love that car. It runs well. It is a 7-seater. And you can put down the behind seat so you have a bigger area to load. It is economic on gas. It is sturdy. I put on a little higher wheels now so we can even go over our famous potholes in Jamaica pretty easy. So I'm very happy with that car. But I had, honestly, when it first happened, I was like, something is wrong with you, Sabina. Because remember, at that time I was 60 years old already when I get that car. I passed my first 60 years of my life only having old junk cars. And for the one time I get something nice, it not even give me half year. You know, and I was really, something wrong with you, Sabina, because it was not meant to be. But guys, I cannot go back to these old junk cars. So once this car, I don't know what we have to do once this car has done its time for us, but boy, we will see. Time is a master. We will find out then. So that was one more occurrence we had in 2016. And basically, apart from the couch surfing and this, we are done for today's story time, and then I have to find out some more stories for you guys, because we are reaching up in 2017, and right now I don't even remember anything too spectacular, but we will find something to talk about next time.
So that's pretty much it for today's story time, guys. So just in case you didn't catch it, the accident happened because Majumi had a mini blackout that was more than likely caused because of the medication that she was on at the time. So yeah, mash up mommy, nice dream car. Well, not dream car, but her first.
Well, it was almost my dream car, but no, seriously, because once I got it, I fell in love with it. I directly fell in love with it.
So Everybody boo Mayumi in the comment section. Just kidding, just kidding.
No,
just kidding.
no,
It wasn't her fault.
When she was so, oh my god, she was completely out of it at that time. She felt so bad.
But yeah, so that is it for today's story time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, guys. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.